All right, hi everyone. Not wanting to keep anyone waiting for too long. I welcome you now to this episode 2 of the Gnomes Attack. So, here basically we are attempting to do a comic book from scratch, from the beginning. So, in these live streams, we will be first designing the characters, and then eventually we'll be doing the actual comic book pages. And not the whole book will be done here, but most of it will. And any guests and any viewers can always pop in and chat and come up with ideas, and we'll integrate them into the script. When that happens, your name will be credited in in the book credits. Um, well, if you're new to the channel, I've been doing comics for many years. My latest release, Chromosome 96, issues 1 to 3, is being shipped at the moment. So the backers of the campaign at Indiegogo should be receiving it very soon. And this book will hopefully also be crowdfunded, and then we'll be hopefully delivering it later on in the beginning of the next year. So I got my cartoonist, the man that will be doing the lines for this book, now waiting to get in, and I'm just gonna do exactly that. So with me here on the on the right side of the screen is Ibai Canales, all the way from Spain.
Yeah,
Hello, sir. How are you then?
not bad, not bad. I'm sorry I was late, but I have a pretty good excuse. I had to help my mom with the groceries.
Yeah, that's a very good excuse. How's the weather there?
It's weird. I think it's pretty similar to the weather in Britain. I mean, it's like humid and asphyxiating, not particularly hot, but that's that weird swamp-like weather.
Yes, you are right. It is exactly the same here. It's making me very sick. I don't handle humid very well, and I don't handle humid and hot very well. So it's turning my stomach around every half an hour. I might need to interrupt this and leave you for 3 or 4 minutes while I go there
Oh,
and then come back. You never know.
yeah, no, me too, me too. I've had an upset stomach the whole day. I don't know. Maybe that's why.
It's the heat, man. The heat is doing this to us. Well, then, thank you for coming in and welcome everyone to episode 2. I'm calling these things by episodes. I think is fitting. And as previously explained, the idea for the next few streams, at least, is to go over the characters breakdown that I've created for this book, and one by one, I would have the assistance of Canales, in which he will basically design the character
Mhm.
as I read off the description of the script. Changes will be made as on the fly as we go on. And again, I mean, anyone viewing live can always pitch in ideas, and we can maybe we can incorporate them into the design of the characters. So last week, Canales had a go at the titular characters, at least one of them, a gnome, and he came out kind of very kind of a psychotic gnome, basically. It turned out
Yeah,
like a
I like to call it the dining after midnight gnome.
well, we can call it what's that thing? The berserker gnome, the berserker level gnome when it goes into the
I'm
when
cool
it
with that. I'm cool with that.
metamorphoses into the berserker level. So the third level of evolution of the gnomes. Well, today I wanted to challenge Canales in designing Claudia. Um, Canales had a look at this. I have sent him previously the the cast of characters, and we went briefly over it. I don't know if you already has any particular ideas in mind. I know that he sympathized with a few characters there, and he kind of had a feeling of where to take them already. But I don't know if he's got anything under his sleeve already. He probably doesn't have sleeves at the moment because it's very hot. But we got uh, we got Claudia today. Claudia is well, I would say that it's kind of the Sigourney Weaver of this comic, like she's in Aliens. But she's not as resilient and as resourceful as Sigourney Weaver. Nonetheless, she's I would say this is a female-led story since she tends well, my script is tending to gravitate towards her in terms of who's actually running the show, who's the actions goes around her. So, am I sharing the screen? I don't think I am. Let me share the screen. I got the script right here. So, there we go. So, right. There we go. I'm still rusty with this crap. Right. Now, I zoomed in on the script here, so I hope everyone can see it a little bit better. So, we got Claudia is her name. And the first line there kind of is a resume of what she does for a living. She's an opinion piece journalist for Left Wing Online Mag. So she's not good enough to write for a legacy media magazine, not a magazine that is in print, is an online magazine. And obviously is a clear left wing mag. It's like the Mary Sue. What do you think?
Ew.
Something like
Well,
that, isn't it?
yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be a challenge to not make her hideous and make her likable. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to be tempted to draw her like directly Puff or Big Red, but no, since it says here she has to be juicy
Mm-hmm,
and fit.
mm-hmm,
I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna try like an Amanda Marcotte approach, something. Maybe Anita Sarkeesian.
mm.
Anita Sarkeesian, she's not bad looking
Yes.
after all.
No,
Yeah,
she's
she has the time.
quite yummy.
Yeah,
Take away the personality, do it a little makeover, a little, nothing over the top. She's like 80% baked already. It's just finish it off, and you'll have a very good dish there. She's got that kind of that Greek, Middle Eastern kind of thing to her, isn't it? I mean, Circassian, so a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Claudia is that sort of chick that she probably goes to the gym maybe once or twice a week. I mean, she has plenty of time. She works from home. Apart that when she needs to go into the office to boss around some white males at the office, which will only be a couple of them, and they're all soy boys, obviously. She's got a bit of a that little tummy bump that a lot of women in their 30s have, not 40s, 30s. Meaning, when I say fit, meaning that she doesn't have like the four pack now, like a lot of young women now in their 20s that spend immense hours in the gym have. Meaning she's a woman that is approaching middle age, so she's not a gym maniac. So yeah, I mean departing from that principle, that she goes to the gym once in a while, and I'm thinking, I think one of the most important important staples of her is would be her haircut. I'm thinking about like straight hair about shoulder length, something like that, with a fringe, with a silly fringe that goes all the way
yeah.
to her eyebrows.
Yeah, I'm thinking something like a helmet type hair. Like straight and almost Egyptian.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That sort of thing. A Cleopatra kind of thingy. Yeah,
Yeah.
a Cleo. That was her name back in high school. They used to call her Cleo.
Well, she acts
And
like she's the empress, right? So
yeah, she completely overlords her partner. She's Mark. We won't go into him now, but he's right below her name there. You can see him. You can see his description on screen as well. But we won't concentrate on him, obviously. And but yeah, but like I said, she's juicy. So we gotta go nice on the breast department. Not huge, but enough of to be eye candy, basically.
Let's say
Because
perky. Yeah, let's say perky. I think the correct
yeah,
term will be perky.
perky. Yes, something like yeah, little sticking out things. I mean, like when they're covered, they do look like little missiles. Yeah, something like that. So
Mm.
the idea with Gnomes Attack. I mean, one of the things that we have to leave, straight away, make it clear, is that this will have plenty of fan service from the beginning to the end. So I mean, this it really is a comic for every single white male out there from from the age of 10 to the age of
Yeah,
90.
white male. You're a white male.
This is made just for them, just for them. We don't want any women buying this comic. I'm gonna exit the screen now. Once in a while, you might hear me drinking some water because of this horrible heat. I'm in the city in the middle of London, so obviously you're a little bit
Yeah.
better where you are. It's not such a big city, is it?
No, it's a small coastal town. Yeah, I'm thinking like one of those small towns you would see in Wales, maybe, or maybe Yorkshire, one of those places. Like it's in the middle of the mountains. So it has a couple of factories lying around, but yeah, it's pretty small.
Hmm. Coastal towns, yeah. From like, wow,
Yeah.
lovely. At least you have the breeze of the sea.
Hmm. Yeah, I like the sea because I can always fantasize of jumping into it and just swimming away.
Do you want to do that? Swim away from there?
I'm every now and then I fantasize about it because things are getting pretty crazy here in Spain.
So what's happening right now with the what's the politics now in Spain? I completely lost track.
I think a couple of years ago, officially this January, but since a couple of years ago, the basically SJWs have been in charge,
Hmm.
and they've been pumping a lot of taxpayer money into feminist concerts and feminist therapy sessions and stuff like that. Uh, and there's something that may be a fake news. I don't know about. They have repainted the snail mail vehicles. The bands and all that. They have repainted them with the pride flag recently.
Hmm.
Shortly after saying that people weren't going to get uh, the Spanish equivalent of their Trump bucks until much later on in the summer. So there isn't any money to keep people from falling into poverty because of the COVID crisis, but there is money to repaint things. I do hope that's just fake news, but that's definitely the kind of stupid shit that our government will do.
Oh, by the way, I got Paul Costa in the chat. Paulo is a big fan of comics. He's got his own channel here on YouTube, so check it out. He goes to quite a few comic book conventions. He has some guests on the show as well. A few other fans, other collectors, and as far as I know, a few artists as well. He's suggesting that she has that Claudia, besides Mark, or sorry, boy, husband. Yes, you have that right. I'm not sure if they're married. They're living in communion, so he's the de facto married,
They
but then I don't think they're married.
they have a polyamorous relationship.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's suggesting that she has obviously something on the side. Maybe they even, they have menages à trois. Probably, they all come to the house. It's a big house. Actually, Canales was She's funny, yeah, and I'm not sure if Canal is just going to drop his pencil right after this and just exit because when I sent him the first 3 pages, he was very happy because he was set in the Middle Ages, and
Yeah,
he told me, and I remember this. Oh, this is great because I don't have to worry about doing incredibly straight lines because it's just
yeah, yeah.
wooden houses and all that. So and then I told him, yeah, man, but that's just the introduction. Actually, you're gonna have a horrible time because the whole thing is set inside a house, a modern house, stylized
Damn
house.
it!
So it's gonna be the biggest amount of straight lines you'll ever to do. So the whole thing is set within 4 walls. So
But here's what I came up with. I'm going to use the fisheye perspective, so every line will be curved. As if you were looking through a peephole. What's the term for the peephole on your door? Like when someone calls and uh,
I
through the
don't know.
hole in it. Well, you know what I mean, right? I'm going to
Yeah,
give
yeah,
that
yeah,
this
yeah,
round perspective, that fisheye lens
yeah.
thingy, so
Fish on
I
it. Yeah.
won't have a single straight line. That's how smart I am. If you pay attention, that's the trick I used in the first page of Necromancer Tombstone Blues a couple of years ago.
Yes. Well, I think I've seen you using that even in other panels from other books that you've been working at recently. Maybe not all of them, but maybe in a few selected panels where you're trying to squeeze in a little bit more background and out of necessity. I
Yeah,
think I've noticed you doing that. So um, I was while we're at this topic of Claudia, the topic of today, Claudia as a work colleague, Justine. She's the last character to arrive at the house, and she's a very shy girl. Uber feminist, but she's not. She basically lets Claudia do the talking for her, and she's very allergic to men. She clearly and very drastically has a very severe allergy to men. Justine, not Claudia. Claudia likes to tease, but she doesn't obviously doesn't like attention of unwanted men, but she likes to tease. But Justine really is like an old fashioned nun. It's just that she's not a nun. That's the only difference. And Justine comes over and they're speaking about problems at work. And apparently there's some male at work that has been mansplaining something, and they got to cut him down. That's the first interaction between her and Justine over the phone. We overhear this because the beginning of the book is all about this trivial social life, just to introduce all the characters, so you can see how disgusting they are. See that they will deserve their comeuppance, and and Justine then later on comes to the house, but picking up on that of harassment at work. Even when the actual males are not doing real harassment, but it's just interpreted as harassment. I was actually just reading I'm not sure if it was a tweet. I think it was on Facebook. The editor from Dark Horse, and then
yeah,
she
Scott.
explaining. Yeah, you saw that, right? And
Yeah,
I was reading that. I mean, and obviously, I was complaints. Fair enough. You can give you can give enough attention to a complaint. It seems to be a legitimate complaint. She said that she was married at the time, and the guy that now Dark Horse completely disavowed him basically, and he was engaged at the time or whatever, and he went on with his you know, really over the top sexual harassment for many years, for like 5 or 10 years, something like that. I briefly read it.
mhm.
It seemed quite disturbing what the guy allegedly done and all that. But what caught my eye and they got somehow criticized by this in certain corners of the indie comic community, and even the mainstream, is that Dark Horse, right? Dark Horse is a small publisher, right? I mean, they've done very well. I mean, the Dark Horse for again, anyone visiting doesn't know, and I'm not the biggest expert on Dark Horse. I used to collect a lot of their books back in the 90s, but Dark Horse started in the 80s, I think, in the late 80s, and the owner was a
Yeah,
guy that,
something like that.
yeah, and the guy was, but they
Yeah.
didn't do much for their first couple of years. I mean, they jumped like from just a couple of titles to actually having a nice portfolio, including Mike Mignola with
Mm,
Hellboy, and then eventually Frank Miller gravitated towards it, and obviously did Sim City under their label, and most importantly 300. But before that, really, he started this guy that did Dark Horse, and I think it was two guys. The other one is hardly ever mentioned, but he started with just opening a comic book shop. He was just a comic book shop owner, and then what he decided to do was to compile stuff that was no longer, well, I don't know if I will miss the correct technical word here, but it was no longer syndicated. Basically, it was just properties that he just grabbed and compiled into. I think it was called Dark Horse Presents, which was an omnibus edition of
mm,
compiled stories that had been previously released, and the publishers didn't care more about it. And I think the first stuff I saw from them was actually the reprint of the Star Wars adaptation from Marvel, which somehow Marvel gave it away to them. I don't know what sort of business went there, but they've done quite well over the years. I mean, they're not a. There was a moment there, I think, what, mid 90s. They really got into a stride there, and for a moment there, they were the fourth biggest publisher, weren't they? I mean, there was Marvel, DC, Image, and then it was Dark Horse a little bit further down. Is that correct?
I think it was due. I think it was due to them being really good with their licenses. I remember the Aliens from the late 80s, and the Predator miniseries being really really good. I
Mm-hmm,
mean,
mm-hmm,
like Watchmen levels good, and I'm not exaggerating. If you read even the prologue of the original Aliens versus Predator comic book by Dark Horse, it's amazingly good. I mean, it's like they're doing like this word panel kind of play, like these two guys debating about life and existence and all that, and everything that they say has like an ironic parallel in the pictures. It's really well done.
mm-hmm. Okay, let me interrupt you there for a second. Paul Koss is correcting me here. He's saying, well, he's adding up a little bit of trivia. So Dark Horse Presents. Well, there you go. I was correct on that one. It was published in 1995. Well, so they started that far back, yeah. And in 1988, yeah, well, there you go. They one more that we had forgotten about it. They did The Mask, and like you mentioned,
Mhm.
obviously, Aliens vs Predator, which I still have the actual a trade paperback, which is a great artist they had on Aliens vs Predator, the first Aliens vs Predator. Concrete, yes, Concrete. That was a nice little no, not so obvious out of the box title. Boris the Bear, yes, I think that was one of their first titles as well. And yeah, I mean, cult hits, exactly. I mean, they were a nice option. They were like the alternative music option, to the comics. It's like they were the grunge to the rock. they were uh, they were the Seinfeld to Friends. It's
Yep.
and but yeah, I mean, they obviously they made their money with their properties, and I think they have the last Airbender as well, which in turn gave them obviously movie deals. I think that they're in control of that, I guess, or at least they have a big slice. But even all that said, getting back to my initial point, even all that said, I mean, I think I can't remember where. Again, and Paul will probably know this bit of trivia. I don't know where they're headquartered and what town they are, what city, but all
Probably
in all,
Portland, though.
where? Sorry.
I think it's Portland, Portland,
All right.
Oregon.
All right. Well, it's still a small company, still a small. I mean, they obviously they diversify their business quite a lot. They branched out a lot, but it's not nothing like Disney. It's not even nothing like Marvel. It's still something that can be run by a family. A family of four or five. I think. And the thing that caught my eye in that woman, telling her ordeal and all that, is that she started by mentioning, I was working as an editor, and then I was there was some plans of me start working in 4 to 6 more titles as an auxiliary editor, and this and that. So there was a lot of positions there in the company Bible. And the first time the guy started playing his moves and all that, she's explaining, and we're out on a company dinner, on the hired limo of the company, and we're going to this VIP bullshit on a popular Mexican restaurant, whatever it is. And I'm like, and she keeps on saying, and then we had the business, the working business here, and the business week there. I'm like thinking, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of corporate bullshit for such a small company. So, really, do they really need all this? So, and again, back to the example of Richard C. Meyer, which you work with. I mean, this is a solo
Mhm.
guy, and I'm sure he has the help of at least one more person, at least for accountancy, for the planning of certain things. But he goes to prove that one guy can run an indie label, which effectively has got an indie label, right? It's Splato Comics, is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the guy is not doing 20 titles a year, but come on, he's branched out a lot this year. He's got four titles running, I think. Three or four. It's not bad for a
Yeah,
guy on his own.
at least three. At least three. He has like No, the Ballad of No. He has Jawbreakers. He has the Expendables Go to Hell, and maybe the other Jawbreakers. The other instance. What is it? God King. I think it's free on demand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's have a look at Claudia here. Okay. All
What do you guys
right.
think?
So, am I all right? So we got the gym lines there. I think on the arms, maybe it's got quite an athletic pose. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe yeah, I overdid the arm. I think I should. I should probably narrow it down.
Are we gonna give it more boobage?
I think the boobs are right.
It's enough.
I think we should focus. I think we should focus on her thickness, in the thickness on her legs, because that's an SJW warrior thing. I mean, social justice warrior thing. Sorry, I mean they are not too athletic, but they reach an age in which their laziness like backs up on their legs, and some of them have like really juicy asses. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm, mhm. Yeah, we need a back shot on this one.
Yeah.
Let me just an ass shot. That's it. Just so we know how to do a revolve 3D picture of her. We go in, we put this on a 3D printer and we do a model. And yeah, but Canales is obviously going with the Sigourney Weaver in mind. I think it is an action woman, and that's what we need. She's
Yeah.
she talks the Mary Sue talk, but she's not a Mary Sue. She actually is going to kick ass. I mean, it's not going to do her much good. I'm not going to reveal yet what I have planned as the final destiny of this character, but she does try to kick ass. So at least that much can be said. She's a brunette, so of course we're gonna have the nice black Cleopatra hair. And look here, Paul Costy's got
You
some.
can tell she's a bitch, right? By her expression, you can tell that she's a bossy bitch.
Yeah. I'm digging the eyes. Yeah, that's quite popular now. I mean, the tattoo eyebrows or something like that, isn't it? I mean, these women are all tattooing their eyebrows now. Actually, permanently engraving eyebrows on their faces. I mean, who the hell does that? Okay, so once again, anyone is welcome to pitch in any ideas for these characters. Anything anyone would like them to represent, the little archetypes of certain individuals in our current society, and anyone that always wants to come on the chat are invited to chest any situations. The story again revolves around 8 characters. It's a housewarming party in an undisclosed location in somewhere in the Western society. It could be America, it could be Europe. It is a kind of a picket fence neighborhood. And Claudia here is the owner of a lovely house with her partner, Mark. And again, they're inviting some friends over. Um, all of them with very specific personalities. And they're, what do they do not know is that on that particular night, a curse is about to fall on the house to crush on them, which will make the inanimated objects of the house turn against the proprietors and the guests. The revolt, though, of these household appliances will be led by the gnomes, which Claudia and Mark tend to have a little collection of them, and all hell will ensue in the most horrible, horrible deaths imaginable. So I'm thinking from Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, to 13 Ghosts, the version from the 2000s of the Frank
Yeah.
Castle, old Frank Castle movie. Frank Castle was a famous Hollywood producer that very much like Roger Corman used to dish out cheap productions one after another. But the great thing about Frank Castle is he was very much the entrepreneur like Walt Disney. He liked to always add a gimmick to each one of his movies. It was either 3D or what now is called 4D. I think we make the seats shake, and I think in the third he actually had a ghost hovering over the audience in the cinema room, and I think it was just something on a drape, a little hook with a sheet with a white sheet with a couple of holes for the eyes, and they kind of I think that they put some sort of neon on the sheet, and he's kind of hover above the audience, glided over the room. Yeah, he was a crazy guy. So that'll really be the sort of what is that inertian, man? I'm looking at something there. What's that?
You tell me, what do you think?
Oh man, what's that? In the chin. By some sort of accessory?
The chin, you mean?
I don't know, man.
No, that's just
What is it?
that's just the hair coming on, like on the other side, you know, the line of hair. Maybe I should.
Oh, I got it. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. Got it.
No, no, she doesn't have a
I got
goatee.
it.
If that's what you were thinking.
I was thinking now. I mean, yeah, when we were thinking about Cleopatra, they had these ornaments that they added to their chins. Remember when they went onto these royal? They had all this crap, all this
Yeah,
bling all
just
over their faces. So I thought for a moment,
just person aren't above that. I mean, they would like uh, riddle their faces with tribal shit, trying to be, hip and original.
hmm. By the way, earlier on, Paulo here on the chat was asking if you have any extra light bulbs
I know,
because
I
he's
know,
got the
and the answer
flickering
is
on the screen.
yeah. The answer is no, but I think the flickering just stopped. No, no, there it is again. There it is again. Maybe if I reposition this, no, no, it's still there. Oh, out now.
Yeah,
Ah, no, it's
it
back.
stops when yeah, as soon as you move, that's it. That's when it starts again. I got the same problem when I'm trying to capture my table. Don't worry. We need to have the perfect YouTube stream or the perfect video. You need a ton load of lights. All the pro
Yeah,
streamers, they have all these light rings, and I mean, has anybody paid any attention to these kids streaming on YouTube when they do their kind of making of videos where they're just vlogging? You can see the apparatus they have in their rooms, man. It's like tons and tons of lights and mics and
yeah, yeah.
shields
No,
and flags and
It's an actual job. I mean, you have to invest time and money into making actual quality videos on YouTube.
Absolutely. I try, and I tell you, it's a lot of work. That's why I don't dedicate myself to it full time. It's just
Yeah.
impossible. There's no more energy for guys like us. I mean, we're already out of the loop. We're lucky if anybody we're lucky if anybody buys our books, let alone let
I just
alone.
want to be able to sit down on my ass and read comics every now and then for like 5 minutes a day. That's all I want.
That's it. That's all we need. We don't need to be like Gordon Gecko. We just want money for comics and maybe a couple of action figures, isn't it? How's your
Yeah, yeah,
Transformers
no.
collection? How's your
Oh,
Transformers collection going?
pretty good. I haven't bought anything in a while now because I'm investing all my money in this, this sweet portable drawing table. What else? I got myself a new. You just witnessed me use it. This new Fudenosuke brush
Yeah,
pen
yeah.
that's
Oh,
great for like take outlines.
let me see that again. Let me see the label on the pen.
There you go. It's a. I don't know if you can say it. It's a Fudenosuke.
Ah,
Suke.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
it. No, I don't know.
Yeah, you
But
can get it on Amazon. It's not too expensive. And what's good about it is that it's got like a I don't know. Yeah, it's got like a really fine felt tip, and it's really flexible. So it's kind of like using a brush. It gives you like the quality, the line weight of a brush, and
hmm
it's
hmm
much more of easy to use if you're clumsy and messy like me.
nice. But that's on the thin nib that you got there, or on the thick one, the brush thing.
Uh,
Is it
this
for
one,
the blacks, for the spotting the blacks, or is for the outlines?
no, no, this one is for the outlines. For the big blacks, I have this Pit artist
Ah,
pen.
okay, okay.
I learned this from Ethan and Skyber, and I actually cut off I call this circumcising my markers. I cut off like a tip in an angle,
Oh, Jesus.
so
I,
so the brush stroke will be
ah,
like more
yeah.
brushy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It works, isn't it? Doesn't it become? Doesn't isn't that
Mhm.
bit of the felt a little bit too hard already? The end
No,
bit,
no,
it's a bit soft, isn't it?
no, not really. It works well like this. I mean, if you have, you have like, if you want to use it in its original shape, sure. But I really like to.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I guess he's pointy in his original shape, isn't it? He goes kind of a
Well, yeah.
bullet point.
Paulo Costa says, by the way, shouldn't Claudia be wearing a BLM shirt? You ain't seen nothing yet, fam. I'm going to give her let's say, social justice warrior shirt. I don't know. I need to improvise something like safe. There you go. Yeah. Oh, by the way,
I
so
get it. Don't you
great.
need to dry the black a little bit more before you white out that? That's a quick dry, man. That's a
Mhm.
really quick dry. Awesome.
Yeah, no. It's actually, it's not even alcohol based. I use India ink to
Mhm,
refill
mhm.
it, so it dries really quickly.
Oh, so it's refillable. Awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't
but
know.
you got a point. I think I'm gonna re-black this. Maybe
Hmm.
paint over it.
Now I gotta say,
That's a good.
I gotta say, I mean, without many words, Claudia is exactly as I had imagined her. That's it. That's Claudia. I'm thinking maybe a tiny little bit more meat, maybe not as so athletic, but obviously once we get her naked, which will be a little bit of
There you go.
titillation.
Now she's more meaty. How's that? She's got a thicker waist now. Wait,
That's it.
there you go. Thick,
Yes, yes,
extra
yes.
thick.
Now again, I do gotta compensate here this situation because Claudia is a feminine woman. I mean, there's no questions about. I'm not thinking tomboy here. Although secretly, I gotta say, I'm not completely against tomboys as long as they're not dykes.
Oh,
So
I love tomboy.
By the way, we got a disclaimer from Paulo. He went back to his original sentence about the light bulbs, and I misinterpreted what he said. He said that the light bulb joke was not aimed at Canales studio, which right now is not flickering. It's a beautiful shot right now. Just hold that shot,
Thank you.
never again change it. No, no, don't move.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful shot. And he said that the joke was about Claudia, the soy boy boyfriend, and Claudia's female friend, meaning that nobody knows how to change a light bulb, meaning there's no man in the house. That's what it means. And yes, Paulo, you are completely right. I mean, Claudia and Mark, it's a sort of a modern couple that expects everything to be done for them. So they obviously use delivery services for their meals. Mark is a guy that is playing around with recipes. Oh, what we got here? Save lesbian rainforests. Right.
Say lesbian rainforest because a rainforest can also be a lesbian.
There you go. This is you just reinvented the wheel, man. Right here, live.
That's Canales for you.
So yes, Paul, it is right. So these guys, they do over rely on tech. They're obviously some sort of person that complains about capitalism, but is quite happy to live on a fully functional home with electrostatic and thermostats that will function by themselves without having to press any knobs. And they're over reliant in technology, and that's precisely why all these devices they have at home are going to be a nightmare to fight against. So there's two things here I got to keep balancing in the script, which is partially is that kind of urban myth of the house turning against its occupants, and the traditional horror story where there's a kind of a sentient entity in the house. The house is a sentient entity that needs to be overcome, that needs to be fought against. And the other thing is an actual pretty real curse that mainly influences the gnomes and then these people that obviously get along oh so well, but as soon as a crisis befalls upon them, then all hell breaks loose, and all their great relationships, they're all going to crumble, and they're all going to start kind of fighting against each other. So we have about two or three dynamics there in the script, and the whole thing has to be fun. It can't be too overwhelming for the reader. So we're not going to worry too much about making sense of the whole thing. We just want to have fun with it, drag these people through the mud. Oh, the gnomes will change the light bulbs. Yes, the gnomes. I think the gnomes will most likely break the light bulbs. And I'm actually I'll make the announcement here. I didn't mention last week that we got someone already for the cover, which will be it has to be kind of a weird special cover. So um, I got the right guy for it. I mean, Canales will do a great cover, but this cover is it's kind of a Frazetta style cover. This like a B movie as is over the top poster that shows something that you will never see in the movie because they didn't have the budget for. We're gonna have our epic B movie poster, yeah. So this is gonna be a special cover. But besides that, I'm also in talks with someone that has done quite a few theme songs for comic books and some scores for graphic novels, which is it's an idea that I had for many years, and it's quite trendy now. So it's time catching up with me, as it is usually the case. And we're not gonna have a full score for this book, but we're gonna have a nice catchy theme song, and we're gonna have a little bit of an additional melody, like a little what they call the suite, isn't it? Which is a small redemption of a couple of themes strung together for 2 or 4 minutes of music, something like that, like a title track, like tempo score, basically. And
Oh,
that will all be added up to the trailer that I'm planning to make. But for that, we need obviously some work already done for the book, so that will be coming much later in the game. But we're definitely working on the song now. The song will come out as soon as we can. As soon as they will work on it, then I'll release the song. It's gonna be a fun song, a rock song, 80s style song.
Nice.
I like her, man. I like her very much. She's cool.
Thank
And
remember you told me that you need a butt shot, so that's what I'm doing now.
and I like that you gave some stern neck to her. Like clearly, this woman is always upset with something. She always has something to
Yes.
criticize. She's constantly verbally like a verbal diarrhea from her. You can clearly see that. She goes to the gym. She doesn't need to exercise her neck. Oh yeah, there we go. The butt shot. I'm thinking Milo Manara, yeah.
Oh yeah, and no one. Also Serpieri. What about Serpieri?
Yes.
Yes, no one drew bats like Serpieri. Come on.
Oh yeah, those are amazing butts. Now Claudia won't be that good, obviously. Come on, she's. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is Claudia? I don't know. Is she? Well, that goes to personal taste, isn't it? Some guys will see it as a 5. Some guys will say, "No, this is definitely a 7."
I
You
get
know,
it.
yeah, of course, she's perfectly heatable.
She, ah,
Yes, I mean it's not just sort of woman that turns heads, but if you're in the supermarket and it's late in the day, you see her passing by, going, "Yeah, nice ass. Yeah, okay, I'll tap it. Yeah." And then obviously until she goes like, "Excuse me, can I take that melon, please?" Oh shit, yeah, yeah.
please, can I have that melon? Oh my god.
God, please. Oh, he's just gonna stare at those tomatoes all evening. Can I? Please 2 meters apart, please?
And
Is
I'll
it
be
two
like,
meters there?
I'm gonna make you roll your eyes for real, girl. Mm.
That's it. What's the distance there in Spain? I mean, you guys had a pretty tough lockdown, wasn't it? I saw the van going up and down the street saying, "Stay inside. This is a official curfew." Was it like that in every town in Spain? I'm curious about that.
Uh, yeah, pretty much. We had that here. There was a car, like an official band going around with speakers telling everyone to stay inside. This is an emergency. And some of my friends actually freaked out. They were like, "Holy shit just got real." This is like 28 days later.
I know, man. I saw that shit
Yeah.
here. I thought maybe this is just in a tourist enclosure or something. But no, then I noticed, no, Jesus, that's an actual city street. Everybody's out of the streets, and the van is going around with these huge megaphones. Stay inside. Emergency code red. do not, do not get out.
Yep.
It's
That's it.
1984 shit.
Hmm.
That was awesome. And now in this aftermath, they've been saying it's either 2 meters or 1 meter, so people have to keep their distances, isn't it? Are you guys applying that at the moment? The 2 meters?
I think it's 1.5 here, but no one seems to be able to make the move.
One and
I don't know. No one knows. No one knows.
you go like 32 and a half inches, 34 and 3/4 inches, please.
Yeah, it
Everybody's going.
sounds like they were trying to decide which distance should it be, and they were like 2 meters, no 1 meter. Okay, let's compromise to 1.5. How's that? Okay, one
One
and a
and a half.
half
That's it.
for no other
That-
reason than to compromise.
yeah, talking about asses, obviously, because we got to bring down the quality of this stream a peg or two. I mean, the amount of machines now in the gyms that work your ass. And obviously, I mean, there's only a couple of guys that are going to use those machines, obviously, but it's mostly chicks, mostly young chicks. But Jesus Christ, I mean, how many machines now work your maximus gluteus? It's about 3 of them or 4. Well, they call them cardiovascular machines. Yeah, right. It's clearly for your ass. That's why all these chicks now have great asses. I mean, I'm not a
I'm not complaining. I'm a
I'm
huge
not a
ass
perv.
man, literally.
Yeah, I'm a tits guy, but fair enough. I meet you halfway through. 1.5, yeah. She's got her hand in her pocket, yeah.
LOL.
Hmm. Is that ass done? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. That's a
Is
Milo
what, sir?
Manara's ass. Is that a Milo's Manara's ass? That's a Milo
I, I
Manara's ass.
I wish it was Milo Manara's. I'm still learning how to properly draw an ass. No one could rival with that guy when it came to drawing an ass. Pretty well,
True,
pretty.
but I think you've done quite well. I gotta say. I
Thank
mean, it's almost there. I mean, it's the Golden Globes of asses. Well, the Milo Manara is obviously the Oscar, but still the
I'll take that.
Golden Globe for best drama or comedy. No, comedy or musical. Comedy or musical. I got Paul Costa saying here music festivals were canceled, but the music festival organized by the Communist Party is going forward. And that is, but that is in Portugal. They wanted to put traffic lights in beaches. Oh, really? Traffic lights, like to for the influx of people going down to the seaside? Illuminari is a way of drawing asses. Not even Frank Cho can rival. Oh yeah, Frank Cho. Yeah, is I mean, out of the top of my head, I can remember an ass by Frank Cho, but Frank Cho obviously did took a lot of glee into designing Flash. So
Mm,
yeah, maybe there's quite a few good asses by Frank Cho. I mean, Frank Cho
Frank
was.
Cho has a way of drawing like really thick and chunky women, and I really like that.
Mhm, mhm. He was in trouble the other day, wasn't he? Because of that crap, wasn't he? Just before
I,
Scott Campbell. Well, Scott Campbell every 6 months is
what?
in trouble, but
I didn't hear that. Was he?
yeah, I think so. Frank Cho had a problem with the cover. I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, I know that he had a problem with. Oh shit! I can't. No, I remember she used to do like the Spider Woman cover, parodies of the Spider Woman cover with several characters, but that was years ago. I don't know.
Hmm. I mean, when I say the other day, I mean a couple of years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Scott Campbell
Then
was
that one.
was but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think Paul Kosh will probably know this. He's thinking. He's probably just thinking right now about it. Yeah, Frank Cho, asses, censorship. He's ruminating through his encyclopedic knowledge of events related to the comic book world. But I might be wrong. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think we're done for today.
I think it's more than enough. We got our leading lady, Claudia,
Hmm.
and so opinion piece journalist for Left Wing Online Magazine, 30-year-old, in her 30s, not necessarily 30, brunette, juicy but fit, and ratchet personality. And next week we'll take care of our soy boy partner, Mark. And
Yes.
that's it. Are you gonna have dinner now, or is it a bit too late?
No, I think this is a perfect time to have dinner. Actually, I think I'll try to find something not too horrifying on Netflix, and eat a sandwich while I watch it.
Yep, that's it. And I'm gonna start writing a check for Canales, the value of £10,000. it's a, it's a, it's
Much
a,
appreciated.
a down payment. And yeah, I'm gonna go and eat something. Actually, I got some meatballs, but again, with this heat, I don't feel it. I don't feel like eating anything. I'll probably just drink iced tea, but iced tea also turns my stomach around. Anyway, that's enough for today. And so again, I mean, hopefully join us again next week. Canales, if you're available next Friday, we'll go through one more character. In the meanwhile, I'll work on a script during the week. And again, everybody, check out Canales' channel. He's got his own channel.
Indeed, I do.
Yeah, he goes over mediatic events in Spain and in the world of comics as well. I've watched it a couple of times. Paul Costa has his own channel, and everybody follows on Twitter for more reveals and updates on this book as we go along. So thank for very much for everyone joining, and see you guys another time. Bye bye.
Adios.
Adios.